welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Vlogmas. I don't know why I'm awkwardly pointing out to the tree because it's there. It's beautiful. It's not decorated yet, but we'll get onto it. It has been a crazy morning. It's already 11 o'clock and I have been running around doing things for everyone else, and I can finally get on with the day and have a lovely hot cup of coffee. That makes a difference when it's actually hot. And today I thought it would be a great day since it's coming to 2023. Let's just plan our next year, shall we? Let's make an action plan. I got some tips to share with you and I think it's going to be quite useful. So I'm going to sort this out, drink a bit of coffee, and we'll get onto it. That's better. Now let's sort out the hair. Let's do this. So this is better. A little bit more finalized, a bit more Cynthia-like. We like that more. So step one, first of all, put some time aside to do this. Ideal if you can do it like a whole day, if you can box out like a nice 9 to 5 kind of moment. But it's fine if you can't do the whole thing. Maybe do it in bits and bobs, but make sure that you put yourself away from everyone else, away from any distractions, silence, or maybe music if you feel like it. Just make sure that you have some time aside to do this because it does take a lot of like focus and concentration. And if you really are just serious about it, then make sure you put some time aside. What I wanted to do first is a look back at what I did last year, and actually this is a good example. Last year I did this in February, so it was already 2 months in the new year, but the way that the year played out, I just didn't have time before New Year. So it doesn't mean that you have to do it before January 1st and then you have to hit ground running from January 1st. You might want to do it in November, like it's actually November now and I'm doing it now, and you might want to start implementing some things throughout December, so when you actually get to January, it's a lot easier. It's already like part of your daily routine. It's already part of your habits. So whenever you do this, it's fine. Let's just crack on with it. First thing, let's look back at what I did. So I've got my laptop here. This is my Google Drive. There's an actual folder saved in there. I used to do this in a diary and used to write it out and kind of do little mind maps that way. That's fine as well if that works for you. But last year I thought, you know what, I use Google Drive so much and it will be a lot easier for me to tie in content creation and just plans in general, like my calendar, if I had this somewhere online with me constantly, like wherever I was in the world or whatnot. So I made a folder and I called it 2022 Action Plan. Super strict, super on the ball, because that's what we like to roll. So you can call it whatever you want to. I just called it 2022 Action Plan. The main two files that I have in here is reflect on 2021. So reflect on your last year, or if this is something that you are doing kind of in the middle of the year, just reflect on the past. What went right, what went wrong, what was really successful. Maybe there are things that didn't really work out the way you wanted to, like what were the struggles, and just kind of document it and go into as much detail as you want to, you know, just have a little moment. Sometimes this is easier to do in a diary or in a journal because it just comes out of you. If you do journaling yourself, you know, when you put the pen to the paper, sometimes you just comes out of you, like you start writing all kinds of things. But it's pretty much similar for me with typing. So I do a reflection on 2021. Maybe if I have goals or something from the year before, I can kind of go over that list and reflect on that list. So I got like a reference point of what I wanted to achieve, so I can reflect on that. So perfect. Or maybe you can go through your actual diary. I like to do this where I just kind of skip through the months and see what I've been doing, what events have I gone to, what like holidays, because it all kind of starts to come back to you and you realize, you know what, it's actually not been that bad maybe. Or maybe you realize, yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad, so it's time to change something. So reflection on the previous term, on the previous year is like a must. And it just sets you up, like energetically, I feel like it sets you up for the next, you know, for the mission ahead. And then the next one, I have named it as what does my 2022 look like? This can be whatever you want to name it. This is basically you setting your goals, you painting out your vision for the next year, and really just again putting it all out. And you will look at like certain things. I like to kind of compartmentalize it. Might be butchering this, but you get me. I like to kind of put it in like groups. So I will always have business goals. That's very much one of the core things why we're doing this. I'll have family goals, so family lives, relationships, social life, health, and then any kind of other bits. It might be something like this year I want to do one for the house because that's like a big project that has been kind of, you know, taking a backseat these past 2-3 years that we've been living in here. You make sure that you've got those big groups and you paint a vision for each of those groups. So last year I actually put this vision for the next year in the same file as the reflection one. It really doesn't matter what you do. I basically started it with the tagline for the next year, and I always think that kind of gives me, it's like an affirmation. So whatever you do, whatever kind of actions or plans you make about the next year, it's always going to be with that tagline in mind. And last year for me, it was fuck fun, I want magic. So it was like, if it's not magic, if it's not amazing opportunity, or is it the best that it could be, then I don't want it, kind of thing. You know, obviously not everything's going to be that way, but you know, you get the idea. That was mine for next year, for this year, and I've actually not really thought about the next one. I might even leave it the same because it's been really good. I'd really like this attitude, and I think because of that attitude my year turned out a lot more magical, a lot more interesting than it would have been without it. So last year I had family life goals, social platform goals, work goals, financial goals, physical and mental health goals, and personal development goals. And I've actually finished the list with fully self-employed by August, exclamation mark, underline, bold, because that was like the main goal for last year. And it's actually quite interesting that I did speed up. If you've seen my very super emotional vlog of 2 parts, then yeah, you'll know that I actually did that 4 months early. So we're here, we're doing it. And the way I did it, I just broke it really down. Whatever was coming out of my head, whatever was on my mind, I was just typing it, like little bullet points. Sentences sometimes don't make sense. I'm just like getting it all out, like what's on my mind, what do I feel like I could do, and what would make my life the way that I want it. And I was in a quite dark place, and it had been quite a challenging time since really the start of COVID, and then I got pregnant, and the whole motherhood, once you become a parent, it's shocking and it's mind-blowing, and it's so much going on. You know, those 2 years, they have been a lot. So I was so focused, like, right, I'm gonna get this right. I'm gonna sort this out. So tip number 2, make these 2 plans, reflection and goals for the next year. Make it actionable. I'm gonna do this, or I am doing this. So it's almost like you are already in the movement, you're in the motion. It's not like, well, it would be nice. No, you're going in with like good energy. I mean this, I'm gonna do this. And then the other file that I told you, what does my 2020 look like? It's actually broken down, so it's easier for me to take these steps and put it straight into my calendar. So this is why I said why it kind of works out for me to have it on Google Drive or have it somewhere online. You know, it could be anywhere. It could be on Notion. I know that people like to use Notion. So what I actually did here is I broke it down in like terms. So I have January to February, then I have March to May, June to August, September to December. So again, you kind of like narrowing it down, you getting more intentional with it. So all of your goals that you just set, kind of like family life, business life, starts to slot them in. Where do you see that you could maybe start working on it, or what would you have to do month by month to be in the position that you want to be? And this is so crucial. I didn't do this before last year, and I feel like that's why I probably wasn't as successful in like getting my goals realized. There was no like actual action plan. So these are super actionable steps. You can see the breakdown. Even if you want to go even deeper, break it down month by month. I think I might try doing that this year, and then again, it's a lot easier to throw it into my calendar, throw it into my weekly planning, monthly planning, and it just all starts to make sense. It's a lot easier to manage when you start to break it down little by little, tiny little actions. End of the year, you're going to be amazed by what you have done. So I started to plan these actions in months, and whatever I needed kind of a more thought put into it, or maybe I had to like, right, sit down with that action. So let's say create a portfolio, and that needed more planning. I wanted to really kind of rejig it. I didn't want to just use the same old what I've had so far. I wanted to make new projects and, you know, kind of make it nice and snazzy. So I highlighted that, and I actually put like comments that it needs more planning. So what I do next with all of those tasks is I create separate files for them. So here in that folder, in the main folder, I have portfolio creation. So there was actionable steps or like brain dumping. What do I need to do? Where can I slot it in? And then I can go back to the main file and slot them in again. You know, so this is like a growing thing. It's a growing document. What else have I got? Incomes. There was like different revenue streams that I thought looking into. How could, you know, I make this, if I want to make this life happen, I need this kind of income, and where can I get that income from? I also did one for what does my week look like, because I was planning my next year to obviously become self-employed. So I was like, okay, well, once I get there, what's the vision? What would life look like? So I had a week where I'm still employed, kind of just like main tasks, wake up, do nursery, office day, you know, kind of break it down. What do we do on weekends? And then I had another one for the week when I do become self-employed, so I could slot in more exercise, I could slot in more time for myself, for personal development, you know, and all those things start to take shape and it's more realistic. And I think for me, at least, it's like an actual driver to go and do something, you know, instead of just like typing it all out and forgetting about it. Visualizing is everything. Well, not everything, but a big part of it. And I had content creation strategy. So portfolio, content creation, and kind of like my ideal day or the rhythm of my week, and of course income, was those things that I needed to kind of work on a bit more. So yeah, that was basically what I had in this folder. This is time consuming. This is not going to be a 5-minute job, especially if you're serious about it, okay? So just make sure you've got time set aside for it and you've got that mindset, okay? So obviously in this folder, you can put whatever you want. Maybe there's some inspirational talks that you've seen on YouTube or some podcasts that give you some like tricks for planning and, you know, other strategies, because there's going to be a lot of videos like these out on YouTube now, especially. So if you want to slot them in, and then maybe throughout the year when you kind of lose motivation, you come back to it and then you see that file again, and it again, you know, lights up that fire in your belly and you're like, right, okay, let's get this train back on track. You know, all of those little things help, and you have to realize that this is going to be you doing the work. No one else, first of all, cares about it, and no one else will do it for you. Simple as that. Simple as that. So whatever tools you need, whatever little bits of inspiration you can get, gather them all together and pop them in a folder like this, and keep them close, keep them safe. Okay, so that's the sort of strategy. I'm actually going to create the 2023 action plan folder now, and I'll see where that takes me. I think I'm gonna create the main files that I need, and then it's gonna be time for some lunch. So I think we need change of scenery. Hope this has been useful so far. I'm gonna crack on with the work, and I'll see you in a bit. Excuse me, can I have this seat, please? I would really like to get a bit more comfortable. You look quite comfortable here. Can we swap? Okay, so I've done the reflection and it is about 2 o'clock already. I don't know where time goes, where time flies. I think it took me about a couple of hours to work through this. I also watched a video about Christine Applegate and I would see it all. Anyways, we are moving on. We need to set some goals for next year. So what I've done now is I created 2023 action plan file where I'm going to be basically breaking down everything the same that I did last year. I basically kept to the same categories, and even when I did the reflection, I kept it in the same categories: family life, social. I kind of went out in more explanation as I would in a journal, but it really helped me to actually realize what the goals were and what I managed to do, and a lot of things that I didn't manage to do, you know. Like, I think people always ask me, like, how do you do it all? You're so on socials and you do this and you do that. Like, I really don't do it all. My health and my fitness is not really like physical health. Mental health, I am in a really good spot right now. I'm happy to say that. But yeah, I don't do it all. Like, fitness is very much of a thing that needs improvement, and social life is very much non-existent, so that needs improvement. So on that note, I am gonna get ready, put some boots on, and go to a cafe that's nearby my daughter's nursery, sort of in the area. We kind of need to drive about half an hour to get to the nursery. Don't ask. Long story, but I'd rather kind of get myself there when it's now 2 o'clock rather than later on when it's 5 o'clock and I'm hitting the motorway traffic. So I'll get there, get something yummy, we'll see what they got, and work on my goals for next year. I will definitely not be able to finish this today. I will have to come back to it, but this is what I'm saying: you make time for it. If you're serious about it, you make time for it. Okay, right, let's go. See you soon. A little bit wild today. Hi. Okay, so it's obviously a few days later. Actually, it's almost a week later. After that day, I got home. Actually, during the day, I wasn't feeling well, and I was like, oh my god, I'm coming down yet with another bug. Honestly, it's felt like this year my health has just been really bad. Like, it's been really hard to recover. And I did hear something like a fact that apparently, because we've all been locked away for this long, our immune systems are struggling, which I can definitely say that they are. Anyway, so last week was a little bit of a challenge, to say the least. So I was out, I was out for like a couple of days, like complete bed rest. But thankfully, like, I recovered a bit. But then on, when was this? Thursday evening, I got the message that I was kind of dreading to receive. Yeah, it wasn't great to receive that call, but you know, we kind of have to just move on and figure things out. I'm just gonna tell you guys are here for life, okay? Basically, I was supposed to start this freelancing contract, which would last up until September next year. And let me tell you, after these few first months of struggle and a not so great financial situation, I was like, oh, finally, you know what? Breath of fresh air. I can just kind of relax a little bit and not chill out, but just feel like, you know what, for a minute we will be okay. It is hard to be self-employed and constantly think about like, where is the next project coming from, and You know, so to have like something like that in place, and this has been in talks since like spring, I don't know, since summer, July maybe, I don't know, but it's been a while. We had it all set up and everything was go go go, and I was supposed to actually have a training session or training day today, and yeah, got the call on Thursday that unfortunately the project has been pulled back because of the whole economical situation that we are struggling in now, and yeah, no more, what, like 8-9 months possible work, possible income, just poof, just sizzled out. Anyway, long story short, you know, I slept on it, I kind of got over it. Oh, let's sit down here. So yeah, long story short, basically I got the call and I wasn't really too psyched about the news. I always have this outlook on life that if something doesn't work out or doesn't happen the way you planned it, there's obviously something more exciting around the corner, or something bigger or something better for you. Because I think without that outlook, we are going to be goosed, to say the least. We're gonna figure it out. We always figure that out. But going back to the video that we are actually doing today, that you are watching today, it made me realize that, okay, I need to revisit those goals that I wrote literally a week ago, because I was in a completely different mindset, and freelancing work was on the cards there, but it wasn't as much maybe as I will have to think about it now, because obviously I had that kind of vision that I will be okay for a few months. Whoops, change of angle. Eee! I've got a new lens coming, guys, so this vlogging experience is going to be less in your face, if you know what I mean. But yeah, we're gonna revisit that list and we're gonna crack on with it today. So I'm just gonna take this very eager doggo for the rest of the walk, and I'll meet you back in the house where it's nice and cozy and warm and not muddy, and I'm gonna give you more tips on that list and how you can make it a lot more actionable, because we are gonna do some bits. We're gonna do some things, not just bits, we're gonna do big things this year, okay? All right, let's do it. Ready, steady, go. Okay, so I've now spent a few hours, don't know, good 3 hours I think, or 2, definitely 2. So let's just have a look at this 2023 action plan folder that we have got going on. So we started with 2022 reflection. So we reflect, we compare, we just write our heart out, whatever is on our mind, we put that in that file. Then we have 2023 action plan, and I actually ended up switching the look of this document this year, because I felt like, okay, I actually need some structure in this for it to make sense. And I'm gonna pop up a little example of what it looks like now compared to last year. So last year I had just like a list, simply just pointing things out, whereas this year I feel like I'm more on the mission, and I feel like I understand what I want. And I've done this once and I've kind of learned, so we move on, so we, you know, evolve. So I created a table with 3 columns. One is sort of area or types of goals. So here we have family goals, relationship goals, social platform, business and financial, physical and mental health goals, personal and social life goals. So that's like the area of life that we are working on this year, okay? Then next to each of this area, there's another section called goal Oh, actually, I should name that goals. There's not just one, is it? So these are all the things that you want to work on this year. You want to make it happen. Would be nice if they'd happen. Or maybe this is just like blue sky thinking, let's make it happen. So you go through all of these areas and write down your goals. Just write it all out, whatever format you want to. For me, these are like very short. I don't know why I took my glasses off. I can't see if bloody thing. So for me, these are really just simple sentences like spend a couple weeks in August in Latvia, document family photos and print them every 3 months, finish every little job inside the house. So these are really just like bullet points that I want to do, that I want to make happen. And then, now this is the game changer. The next column right next to it, you name actions. What do I need to do to make this goal happen? For finish every little job inside the house, in the actions column, I'm gonna have create a list of jobs per room and schedule them in throughout the year. So this is an actual action. Then I now, and I actually did quite a lot of this, and this is why it took me a while, I take that action that I've just said and I open up my calendar and I book it in. And I literally just open my calendar for the next year and I think, right, well, when do I need to do this list? Probably in January. So I open up my January and I think, okay, well, which date is the best to do this? Because I know I'm going to need some brain time. I'm going to need to sit down and actually work on this. So book it in. Make sure that at the moment, there's not much work planned for January, so it's quite flexible, but at least it's there. And eventually when you get to that task, you can move it around, but at least you know that it's going to be there. And another kind of thing that went hand in hand was this, what does my 2023 look like? So this is more like an overview of the year where I have the months and I have the to-dos in the month. So this document and my calendar kind of goes hand in hand, because I was switching from the action plan, putting things in my calendar, and then making sure I put it in the monthly overview, just so it's a little bit more of a reminder. You might feel like this is too OCD, but you know what? I think this for my brain is gonna help me to look through the year, and I'm thinking, right, this month, what have I done in order to make those goals happen? Whereas when I go to my calendar, I can actually see when I have done them. If that makes sense, right? And that's where I do the planning and moving things about, but this sort of yearly overview gives me the idea of what I'm supposed to do in this month, or what I was supposed to do the month before and stuff like that. And then we have created like these little sub documents. I have a monthly checklist, which is, I think it's going to be crucial. This is going to be really good. So under monthly checklist, I have basically created 2 columns. What a surprise. So one of the columns will have tasks for the month, and then next to them is a very simple column called status. So have I done it or have I not done it? Basically like a tick box exercise. And what these tasks are basically like very simple headlines from my action plan. So you know where I was going through family goals, lifestyle goals and all that, writing it all out. This is very much of a end of the month. I'm going to do these at the end of a month. That's what they call monthly checklists. And I'm going to go through them and I'll see, right, what have I worked on this month? Have I done this? Have I done this? And then I can go back to all of my other lists and look into more detail if I need more information. For example, on this task list, I have YouTube schedule. So the status would be, have I done a YouTube schedule for this month? Space for edit, Instagram schedule, have I done that? Collaborations, have I worked on any collaborations? Have I done any work towards it? Events, attended and hosted. So what events have I gone to or attended or hosted this month? Taxes, have I done my taxes? Really want to be on top of taxes this year. Budget sheet update, that's another big massive task that I had to book in, and it's going to evolve and develop throughout the year. So have I updated the sheet? Have I put in all the money that's come in, that's come out? Where am I with my kind of financial goals, freelance work, shopping for me, because that is a little treat that I want to keep on top of this year. House jobs, exercise, reading, miracle mornings, coffee dates, feminine check / me time. Again, I want to kind of work on myself this year a little bit. Get a bit more spiritual, get connected with my feminine side a little bit, because I feel like that one has been kind of pushed aside in the last couple of years. Obviously, busy life, busy mum, family days, date nights, relationship goals. So this is a very simple kind of list to just take yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And it is such a simple way to keep up with things, like have you done this or not? And then again, I can take these simple tasks and put them in my weekly schedule and in my monthly schedule and just keep on top of things. These are like little reminders. I almost feel like these are literally little reminders that I need throughout the month, throughout the weeks, to make sure that those big goals, that all this work that I've now put in, are actually gonna go anywhere. What else? I'm just checking the folder now. We have the monthly checklist. I have a list of people to keep in touch with. This is friends, this is family, this is business connections. Just like a simple list of people, like what have I done with them? Have I had a little video catch up? If it's, you know, someone back at home, is it a coffee date? Is it something scheduled in? So that for me, the networking and connection with other people is very important for me this year. Social media collaborations, again, this is like an idea dump. What am I working on? What are the possibilities out there? And this is document, again, that's going to grow over the year, definitely. And I'm just going to have it there, easy to plug in when I'm out and about. I just make a note. Otherwise, my phone notes are a mess. There's just so many notes that I write down. At least if I have a document that's here, I can plug in and drop down some notes. Yeah, at the moment, that's it. I know that I'm gonna add a few more files to this. So it's gonna be the jobs around the house that need doing, that's gonna go in here, or the big budget, that's gonna go in here. Geez, that's gonna be a scary document, but has to be done. Not sure, maybe again, I'm gonna put some research work into this, like health and wellness. I wanna look into some yoga retreats or like personal development retreats or events that I want to go to. So I'm gonna dump them in this folder as well. So that's roughly my take on planning your year, setting your goals, and just creating a actionable action plan, and really just making sure that you don't waste your time. And obviously be flexible. These things will change, your list will change, and your priorities will change throughout the year, and that is fine. And actually, when you will look back at your year next year, you will see that actually it was all a part of the bigger picture, and some things had to happen. The stuff that you planned for didn't work out that way, but it went different way, you know. I really believe in this, and I hope that this has been useful to you. And if you have any questions or you want to know anything more about, you know, how I even plan my month and my week, let me know in the comments below. That would be a fun video to make as well if you're interested. But I think that's something that I still am kind of trying to figure out, what's the best way, what's the like best method for me, because that's been changing the last few months. That's it, guys, for today's video. Few little twists and turns and roundabouts, hey, but that's life. That's how we roll. Hope you enjoy the first video of Vlogmas over on this channel. And if you got more time, hang around for these videos. But if not, then I'll see you in the next one. Bye.